Good morning, and welcome to another FasTrax webinar. Webinars are weekly events that are held on Fridays at 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern, and cover a variety of topics from the FasTrax software. To get to the webinars, if you'll just go to our website at goftx.com, and then navigate to the FTx Lifeline. Once opened, if you'll scroll down about halfway down the page, you will get to our webinar section. Click on webinars, and here you can sign up for upcoming webinars by registering. You can view webinars that have already been completed. And there's also the link to subscribe and get notified of the upcoming webinars and other FasTrax news. All right, so today we're going to be covering the accounting module in the Warehouse software. So once we get logged into Warehouse, we'll go to the accounting module down at the bottom. All right, and if you notice, we have three tabs across the top. We have Ledger, Ledger History, and then we also have Chart of Accounts. So Chart of Accounts, basically all that is where you can put in the account number and an account description for your accounting. So just to make it simple, I just created two and I put orders for one and purchases for the other. Now this could be an account number, it could be words, whatever you need for your accounting. To create one, all you do is you hit add account, put in the account number, give it a description, and then you just click on save account. All right, so Ledger and Ledger History. The Ledger basically will show you all accounts. By default, you see all. I can do the drop down and select account and only look at those accounts in particular, or I could do a search and I could type in a name and then select from the list. As you can see, it shows us entries, invoice numbers, the amount of the invoice, what the balance is left, and if it's been paid or not. Now you notice this one, we do have this one already counted as paid. I have an option to show only unpaid invoices. So if I click on only unpaid and hit refresh, my paid one is no longer showing. All right, the ledger entries here goes by the date range. That's here in the top right hand corner. So I can actually change this date to go back as far as I wanted to. And if I hit refresh, that's going to give me more. And again, if I hit only unpaid, that's going to remove any that's been paid and only show me the invoices that I'm still owed for. So let's set our date range back to just the first of this month. All right, you'll notice down at the bottom here, we have an expense report, balance report, aging report, and an aging snapshot. So expense report is just going to be that. It's going to show any expenses that there were, which I do not believe I have any. So mine would just be blank. All it's going to do is show you the entry date, the description, and the amount. The balance report, we have two ways we can run this. We can run it from a snapshot, or we can run it for current, today's date. So if I just tell this one to print, I'm just going to run it as a live balance report. So as you can see, what this one shows us, it shows us the account number, what the account name is, if you had contact or involvement information for them, and this shows what their balance currently is. If I wanted to run it for a snapshot, I would select what day I wanted to run it for. So let's say I wanted to see what everybody owed beginning of the month. I can tell that to print. And again, it's the same information, the account name, contact information, and their balance. And this would be the balance as of May the 1st. All right, so aging report kind of the same thing. With this one, I can do it by an account group, or I can also do a specific date range here. I'm going to leave it by default, which is using what's up here at the top right. So let's say I want to use just an account group. I'll use my account group of Alabama. When I print this one out, it's going to look a little bit different because it's going to give us more detail. It's not just a summary like the other one was. This one tells us what invoice number it was, the invoice amount, and how much is due. And you'll notice it's broken down by stores or by accounts here. I have account 0001 here. Tells me what their balance is, what's current. That's going to be anything that's less than 30 days old. We have what's over 30 days old is how much they owe. Any invoice that's over 60 days that's not been paid, and then any invoice over 90 days that's not paid. So this gives us a breakdown of what day it was on, what the invoice number was, how much the invoice was. As you can see, I have 4 pages here. All of this is for the first account. Then I go to my second account here. Again, it gives me the total balance, current, over 30, over 60, and over 90. And then it gives me my last 2 accounts on this last page. Again, if I wanted to do a different date range than what's up here at the top, I could select that by using date range. And I could say I wanted to go back to April, and it would run the report from April 1st to 5/29. Aging snapshot is going to use a snapshot date. I don't have a snapshot for this day, but let's go back to May 1st. And as you can see, it's pretty much the same as the aging report. It's just using a snapshot. So I'm looking at everything that had been done up to the date of 5/1. But it still gives the same information here for us. All right, the ledger history. So the history differs from just the regular ledger in the fact that this is account specific. It's not showing all on that one page. So here you have to actually filter to which account you're wanting to look for. Kind of like on our aging report, this shows us the total balance, what's current, less than 30 days, anything that's over 30 days old, anything over 60, and then anything over 90. So basically anything that's over 30, it goes from 30 to 60. This is how much is owed. Then from 60 days to 90 days is this much. And then anything greater than 90 is the last amount. So in this grid, we can see that we have our timestamp of when the invoice was done, what the invoice number is, if it's been paid or not, the invoice amount, how much was tendered for it, and what the current balance is on it. We have our method. How did they pay for it? Was it check, cash, credit card, something else? And then you can put in any notes that you want to as well. So the way these populate is I can go and find anything that's not been paid. Filter by timestamp here. So for example, this invoice. If I wanted to pay this invoice, I could double click on it, or I can hit highlight and hit details. We're just going to look at this one. When I click on it, this is my ledger details. You see there's nothing in here, but it tells me that the invoice amount is $293.94, and that is my current balance. So if they're paying me on this invoice, I can come to add. Then here's how did they pay me? Did they do it cash, check, credit card, or other? So we'll just say they sent in a check. And here's my payment notes. So this is where I can put check number or anything else that I wanted to put in as far as my notes. So we'll just say it's check 1234. And we also enter the payment amount. By default, it's going to put what the balance is. But say they only sent me $200 on this one. I'll save it. And as you can see, I've got an entry. Check. Amount was $200. Here's my check number, the notes that I put in. So now we can see our invoice amount is still $293.94, but now my balance is only $93.94. If you had somebody that paid with a check and that check bounced, you can come in here, select that one, and reverse that payment to take that payment back out. That way they would still owe the same amount. So reverse this payment, yes. Tells me that it was reversed, and now my balance is the same as my invoice amount. So let's say that this account, they have several invoices that needs to be paid, and they send a check for multiple invoices to kind of pay their balance off. Instead of having to go to each one of those invoices one by one, we can come down here to mass pay. And from here, I can go through and check ever how many invoices they're paying for. As you can see, it keeps my payment amount keeps going up as I check things. Again, I would tell it cash, check, credit card, or whatever form they're paying with. And if I have all those selected, they're paying this amount. I just hit apply. And it's going to apply that payment to all these invoices. All right, when we're looking at an account as well, we also have the option to email a statement or print a statement. And right now I'm looking at date range from 2016 all the way up to basically tomorrow. So let's come to just this year. All right, so as you can see, I have fewer invoices in here now. So if I wanted to print out a statement for this particular account, it shows us the same information, our total balance, current, over 30, over 60, and over 90. It gives the invoice date, the number, the amount, and the balance on it. And so this is a statement that you would be able to give to the customer. The other option we have is to email the statement. And if we email a statement, it's going to do just that. It's going to basically do the same print statement, except it's going to send that via email to the customer for you. So you would just click email statement, and if you have the email address and everything saved in there, it'll shoot that email over to the customer, and they would then get an email with that PDF in it. We can go in and change the account number. We just have to hit the refresh at the top right. And that changes over to our Alabama store too. All right, that pretty much covers using the ledger in the warehouse. I hope you learned something today. Just keep in mind that webinars are weekly events. We hold them every Friday at 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern. And again, to get to those webinars, you just go to goftx.com/webinars. That'll bring you to the webinar page, and you can sign up for upcoming webinars and other news. You can come here and register for upcoming webinars, and you can also come down here and view the recordings of the previous webinars that we've done. All right, thank you and have a good day.